嚟啊！等我哋大家一齊交叉感染。
Hi, welcome to the Silver Spleen. My name is Bradley Hatch, and this is my review of Just Another Pandora's Box. Just Another Pandora's Box is a 2010 film from Jeff Lau, who made such classics as A Chinese Odyssey 1 and 2, and Haunted Cop Shop, a personal favorite. Then again, he also made the inexcusable A Chinese Tall Story and the execrable Kung Fu Cyborg. As this movie opens, right after the title cards for the director and producer, you know, another one comes up. And it says Chow Yun-fat, Maggie Cheung, Jackie Chan, Stephen Chow, Jet Li, and Zhang Ziyi, and Angelina Jolie all refused to be in this movie. I thought that was funny. I wish they had released this film during the Chinese New Year, like it was apparently supposed to be. Because like all good Chinese New Year films, it's utterly devoid of sense, story, or organization. But it's still friggin' hilarious. In a good way, not a bad good way. Just Another Pandora's Box parodies Red Cliff, Titanic, King Kong, Kung Fu Panda, Kung Fu Hustle, and a whole bunch of other films, especially films of Jeff Lau. This film deserves my hearty endorsement, if for no other reason than I got to see Ada Choi on the big screen again, but that's not all. She makes a joke at Zhang Ziyi's expense, and she calls someone else a tranny witch. My needs are met. I remember watching this in the cinema and I was howling with laughter, as I was during an awful lot of this movie. That one was just one of my favorites. This whole movie is full of that kind of stuff, like a sign language PSA about the dangers of messing around in certain kinds of excavations, or being name-checked in a scene that flirts outrageously with offensive humor but never comes across, as it were. I grant you jokes are about all that Just Another Pandora's Box has going for it, but they're well executed, they're constant, and it was actually kind of refreshing to watch established stars demean themselves in the name of comedy. It amused me to watch Ronald Cheng not just throwing a baby around a bunch of times, but actually drop-kicking it. Later on, Ronald Cheng cocks the baby like a shotgun and uses its bodily functions as a weapon. Just think, as recently as 2010, pissing Chinese babies were funny and not a reason to be outraged. Speaking of being outraged, Ronald Cheng in a blonde wig and a bare midriff is one of the most disturbing things I've ever seen. There's a ton of cameos in this movie, and some are longer than others, but all of them are funny one way or another. Keep a special eye out for Wu Jing and his ruminations about the level of difficulty to achieve certain kinds of disguises. The scene involving Gigi Leung and Steffi Tang is inexcusably moronic, but very funny. Alex Fong's cameo as Guan Yu, the red-faced general, is especially funny because it finally explains why his face was always so red. There are way too many cameos for me to mention everybody, but let me just say they're all worth seeing. One of the things I really enjoyed in this movie, even though it's a fairly cheap comic ploy, is the appearance of several anachronistic things, like a metal stool. It's stupid, but it's funny. One thing I didn't think was funny was the way that Betty Sun often threw a wrench into the movie. I enjoyed the romantic subplot between she and Ronald Cheng, but it derailed the movie every time it became the focus of a scene. But not for the reason you think. That happened because Betty Sun was very convincing and managed to do a lot of very good acting with her facial expressions. The movie would be, you know, just sort of bouncing farcically along, and all of a sudden, Betty made the movie seem serious. And it was almost distracting, but she did such a good job with it that I'm not really mad at her. I actually believed Betty Sun when she'd get serious. I actually believed her when she was being funny too. I'm also certain that she knows absolutely nothing about American culture. This movie's especially funny if you can understand the Cantonese jokes, which, to be honest, I don't, but from what people tell me, they're very funny. Even if you don't get all those jokes, there's still plenty of other things to laugh about. I can definitely recommend this movie, and in fact, I encourage you to watch it if you buy it. In the description, there's a link where you could buy this movie. If you enjoyed this review, please leave me a comment. If you don't enjoy the review, and if you enjoy the reviews in general, please subscribe to the channel, because that way you'll get to see stuff right away.